Now, we want to talk about linear sequence. I believe in the last video, I explained a little bit about linear sequence. So I'm going to the analysis straight up. Just go and watch the video without wasting time. Now, let's U1, U2, U3, to UN be our linear sequence. Be the what? The linear sequence. Now, if this one is our linear sequence now, don't forget U1 is what we call the first what? The term, the first term. And it is given as A. It's called the first term. It's given as A, as a symbol. Then U2 is second term. U3 is third term. Now, there is what we call, if it's a linear sequence, it means that U2 minus U1 should be equal to what? U3 minus U2. It's taking on that. It means that, and that means it's all equal to what? What we call a constant difference. A constant difference. And that constant difference is what we call, is called what? Common difference. Common difference. If the sequence is actually a linear sequence. Don't forget, a linear sequence is a sequence whose what? Set of numbers or quantities are written in what? In a regular pattern or a definite pattern or in a particular order with a constant difference. With a constant difference. And that constant difference is what we call common difference. It's written as D. It's written as D. And we can always prove that by saying U2 minus U1 equals to what? U3 minus U2. If there is a constant difference between these two, then it should be the same thing with this one. And that's what we have proved there, which is equal to D. Now, the n term is what? We check the first term. For example, if I give you what? For example, U1 equals to what? Let's say 2. Let's say U2 is what? 4. U3 is what? 6. Now, for example, now, if you check the difference between the two of them, you notice that the difference between these two is 2. Difference between these two is 2 also. That means that if U1 is what? U2, U3. That means U1 is what? 2. U2 is 2 plus 2. U3 is what? 2 plus 2 plus, let's say, times 2. That means into 2 or plus 2 again. Now, what do you notice? There is a constant difference. So if I have my first term to be A, U2 now be what? A plus that common difference. The common difference is 2. Then U3 will now be what? A plus D plus D. Now, if you continue, U4 will now be what? A plus D plus D plus D. Then, that means UN should be what? A plus, let me first of all show something here. This one will be A, this one will be A plus D, this one will be A plus 2D, yes, but A plus 3D. Now, there is something you have to notice about it. When this one was 1D, this one was 2. When this one was 2D, this one was 3. When here was 3D, here was 4. Therefore, when here is N, what is the difference between 4 and 3? Difference of 1. So I can write this one as A plus what? Now, that means that this one can be written as 4 minus 1 times D. This one can also be written as what? A plus what? 3 minus 1 times D. Because 3 minus 1 is what? 2. So we can say this one is what? N minus 1 times D. Therefore, it implies that our UN is equal to what? A plus n minus 1 times d. Without wasting much time, we have gotten our first formula. We call it the word the nth term, or the last what term. Where a is the first term, n is what number of terms, and d is what the common what difference. So d is the common difference. So we have given the first formula. The second one is that if you have what, let's say S1. Now how do you get S1? S1 is what? I want to find sum of the what? The n term. Now sum of n term is what? Let's say if I have S1, S1 is what? A. S2 is A plus, that means U1 plus U2. That is S1, 2. So what is this plus this now give us what? 2A plus what? D. Now what is S3? S3 is what? U1 plus U2 plus U3. That is S3 for you, which is what? This plus this plus this will give us A plus A will give us what? 3A. Then what do we have? Then D plus D plus D will give us what? 3D. Now if you check very well, now using a word, this one now we can write it as this. If you check, can write it 2A or 3A or 6A into bracket 1 over 2 into bracket what? Well, let me even write it as 2 over 3 times what? No, let me not do it that way. Now, there's something I want to show you first. Let me write, if you add the first and the last term together, you add divided by 2, you are going to have sum of the n term. That means, for example, what I'm saying now is, let me use this method. I think this one will be better. But leave this one, is also correct. Now, let me say, I give you 1, 2, 3, and I give you 10, for example. Now, I want to show you something. Now, if you, okay, let me make it 6, the last term. Now, if you had 1 plus 2 is what? 3. Plus 3 is what? 6. Plus 4. Plus 4 is what? 10. Plus 5 is 15. Plus 1 is what? Plus 6 is 21. Now you have gotten from 1 to 6. Now, if I add 1 plus 6, 1 plus 6, divided by what? 2, and multiplied by the number of, how many times do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 6. You are still going to have the same answer. For instance, 1 plus 6 is what? Is 7. 7 times 2 is what? 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21. That means that instead of going through all this method of adding them together, we can actually say that sum of the n term is equal to what? Without wasting much time. So to n over 2 into bracket, which is number of 10 divided by 2, times open bracket a plus what? Un, or the last term. We can actually write it as n over 2 into bracket what? A plus last term. Now, what do we have? We have Sn equals to, what is our last term, or the n term, is what? N over 2 into bracket what? A plus what? A plus n minus 1 times d. So what do we have, class? We are going to have it as what? N over 2 into bracket A plus A is what? 2A into bracket what? N minus 1 times z. So this one is another formula for sum of the first n term. Please go on. The sum of the first n term. It's over. Sum of the first n term. So sum of the first, that means if I want to find sum of first 2 term now, this is it. So if you put it there, you are still going to have this one. The sum of the first three terms. If you put 3 here now, you see that you are going to have the same answer with me. Put 3 here, put 3 here. So you are going to have 3 minus 1 is 2. Then put 3 here. 3 over 2. You are going to have 3 over 2 into back a what? 2a plus what? 3 minus 1 is what? 2g. If you multiply this 3 over 2 times this one, you are going to have the same thing as 3a plus 3g, which is the same thing with what I have here, this 3g. So you see that the formula will work. We can also use this formula if you are given the first and the last term. That formula will also work. Take note of that. This one, this number 2 formula, then this number 3 formula. You have to put on your head. Very important. You take that formula serious. It is very, very important. Some of the n10. This one is used. Some of what? Of the first n10 when first and last term is given. So that is just that. So I think let me give you one more, then I will end the video. Now what I want to give you now quickly is relationship between sum and the term. Relationship between sum of n10 and what? The un, the n10. That means Sn and what? Un. Now let me show you something quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I have 1 plus 2 together, do you know this one is T1, T2, T3, and T4? Now if I add what? Let me not use T, let me use U that you are used to. The same thing, no? Now if I want to get S4, who can tell me S4? S4 is actually what? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and that is 10. Give me S3. S3 is sum of the first 3 terms, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 equal to 6. Give me X2. You are going to have what? 1 plus 2 equal to 3. Give me X1, my dear. If you give me X1, what do you have? S1 is the same thing as U1, which is equal to 1. Now let me show you something. Let's do something there. Let me find S4 minus S3. What do we have? S4 minus S. Go along with me. 10 minus what? Minus 6. What do you have? Well, what do you have? 4. Okay. Let's look for what? S3 minus S2. What do you have? That will be what? 6 minus what? 3. What do you have? 3. Now let's look at X2 minus S1. What do we have there? We would have 3 minus what? 1. This 3 minus 1. X2 is what? Okay. S2 is this minus this. Okay. So I would have 2. Now let's see. Now if you check what is 4 in the 10. 4 is actually what? Is actually what? The 4th 10. This is U4. Check what? 3. What is 3 in the number given to you? Because 3 is the 3rd 10. That means the result is equal to U3. Check 2. 2 is what? 2nd 10. The result is actually what? U2. Now, what do you notice about usually 4th 10 equal to sum of first 10, sum of the first 4 10 minus sum of the first 3 10. U3 is what? Sum of the what? First 3 10 minus sum of the first 2 10. U2 second 10 is sum of the first 2 10 minus sum of the first what? 1 10. Meaning that we can now conclude, ladies and gentlemen, that what? That the UN, this was, look at this one was 4. This one was 4. You now the Sn minus, what the difference between 4 and 3? Sn minus 1. What about U what? N plus 1. If I write it like this, what will that be? Now be what? Xn plus 1 minus what difference between, remove 1 from here. Now be x what? N. Okay, let me make it tougher. If I give you what? U2n, I want to make it tougher. What do you have? X2n minus, remove 1 from 2n, what do you have? S2n minus 1. So we have generated a formula that could be used to what? To solve question when you are giving sum and you have to find what you call it, un, n10. So don't forget, you can replace this one with n minus 1 in the question. So n can be replaced with n minus 1 to get this particular one from here. So that is just that. So this is another powerful formula that you don't joke with. Very interesting formula that you don't joke with. Let me call this one what? Equation what? 4. So all that equation will be applied when we are what? The major equation have been given for the what? So I'm done with linear sequence, which you call the what? The arithmetic what? Arithmetic what? Progression. So this is what? Arithmetic progression. We are done with it, which is what? In the next class, we are going to be looking at questions. We are not only going to look at questions regarding AP. There are some irregular series questions that we will also be looking at in our seminar. Probably we might not solve it in this video, but in subsequent video, we'll look at them. The next video, watch out for questions on examples on what? Linear sequence.